Hello, my thoughtful teenagers, and welcome back to another episode of Grade 10 Maths with me, Miss Lambert. We're still on the topic of algebra and quadratics, but in this lesson, we're going to be looking at how you can solve a quadratic equation. Just one of the ways you can do so. So, how to solve quadratic equation? Now, one of the ways you can do that is after factorization, which is what we looked at in our last lesson. So, from your exercises, you can go ahead and solve all of those problems. But how do you do that? Let's go through that. Now, when we solve quadratic expression by factorization, we make each pair of binomial equal to 0. Further, we separate and make each bracket equal to 0. Now, let's take a look at what exactly I'm talking about. X plus 3 into x plus 4. Now, these will be equal to 0. So now that we have our pair of binomials equal to 0, we must separate them and put each bracket equal to 0. Because remember, we will be finding two x values. So first we have x plus 3 equal 0 and x plus 4 equal 0. So we remove the bracket and we will have x plus 3 equal to 0. So we subtract 3 from both sides, which will give us x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 0 minus 3. These will go out, so we now have x is equal to negative 3. We perform the same thing on the other side, which is for x plus 4 is equal to 0. We remove our bracket and we subtract 4 from both sides. These two will go. We will be left with x is equal to negative 4. And that is how you solve a pair of quadratics after you would have factorized. Now, this is very important when you are solving. Once you would have solved any problem, please represent your answer this way. Hence, x equal to negative 3, comma, negative 4. So once you would have solved a problem, you present your response by saying, hence, x is equal to negative 3, x is equal to negative 4. Now, there's a little note at the bottom there. I will read it for you, but I want you to remember this. These are the x-coordinates of a parabola. Now, when we continue, you will learn what a parabola is and how important this lesson is in solving for that. But we will deal with that in a subsequent lesson. Let's continue by looking at yet another example. We have 2x plus 5 into x minus 3. And all of this is equal to 0. Remember, we are solving. We cannot solve them all together, so we separate them. We have 2x plus 5 in a bracket is equal to 0, and x minus 3 also in a bracket is equal to 0. So we remove the bracket. We have 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Continue working. We have 2x is equal to negative 5. So we take the x over and we change the sign. We divide by 2. We divide by 2. Now we have x is equal to negative 5 over 2. Now that we would have solved one of our binomial, we can go ahead and solve the other one. So here we have x minus 3 is equal to 0. We transpose x is equal to 3. And please remember, at the end of solving, please write your statement, which says, hence, x is equal to negative 5 over 2, comma, 3. So we know that x is equal to both of those values. It is important that you write your statement at the end of solving. Now that we would have come to the end of our lesson, let's recap what was done. We looked at how we can solve quadratic after factorization. So in order to do that, it says here that when we solve quadratic equations by factorizing, we make the pair of binomials equal to 0. Therefore, we separate each of our binomial and make each bracket equal to 0. Once we do that, we're going to end up with two linear equations. So we solve them. And that is basically how you solve quadratic equations. So there you have it, my thoughtful teenagers, our lesson on how to solve quadratic equations. Please remember to practice, 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 because I would like you to be able to solve any quadratic equation once given to you. Thank you for being here with me on this episode of Grade 10 Maths. Please take care and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.